Hey friends, what is good? Derek here from Bomb Socks with a new week of Bomb Bites where we feast upon the words of Christ and we do it one bite at a time. So today I want to backtrack to two very important verses from last week's Come Follow Me that I did not cover, but I think they blend nicely into where we're going with this week. So first of all, I want you to take a couple minutes and I want you to write down worries or concerns that are on your mind right now, okay? Basically all of the stuff that stresses you out and gives you anxiety, okay? Now as you're doing that, I want to refer you to a talk from Richard G. Scott. It is called Making the Right Choices. I love this talk. So in this talk, Elder Scott talks about how he had gotten his dream job. He was a nuclear chemical engineer on a submarine. And he was doing great, had a young family, was serving in the church, but was finding himself getting ulcers. And he was just physically sick a lot. And so he started wondering why he was doing this. And so he found that there was a lot of worries and a lot of concerns, a lot of stresses that he had in his life. So he was talking about, again, how he just wanted to be a good husband and father, a worker, church leader. But he said, my best efforts produce frustration, worry, and illness. In time, the Lord led me to a solution. I was prompted to divide mentally and physically where possible all of the challenges, tasks, and assignments given to me into two categories. And I'll show you right here. All of the things for which I felt responsibility, but for which I could do nothing to resolve, I put in a basket called worry. Then all of those things for which I had some ability to control or resolve, I put into a basket called concern. I realized I could not resolve those things in the worry basket, so I tried hard to forget them. Later in the process, I learned that putting them into the worry basket didn't mean that they would be taken care of. They were resolved by those who could best handle them, and most often it was the Lord himself. The items in the concern basket were ordered in priority. I conscientiously tried to resolve them to the best of my ability. Although I could not always fulfill all of them on schedule or to the degree of competence I desired, I did my conscientious best. And he talked about how as he started to do this, things started to change a little bit. With that in mind, let me show you two of the best verses in the Doctrine and Covenants. So go back to section 123, verses 16 and 17, where it says, "You know, brethren," and this is Joseph here, "that a very large ship is benefited very much by a very small helm in the time of a storm, by being kept workways with the wind and the waves. Therefore, dearly beloved brethren, let us cheerfully do all things that lie in our power, and then may we stand still with the utmost assurance to see the salvation of God and for his arm to be revealed." So in some ways, that is Joseph putting worries and concerns into different baskets. Let us do everything that lies in our power, and then may we stand still with the utmost assurance to see the hand of the Lord, which is what Elder Scott said. Well, with that in mind, in 1839 and 1840, what do you think were some of the saints' worries and concerns? Keeping in mind that Joseph was in Liberty Jail, the saints were being kicked out of Missouri, and they did not have places to stay. Many of them had lost property, and so they're trying to figure out what to do. So how do we cheerfully, using that word from section 123, how do we cheerfully get the saints from Missouri to a place of safety? Well, I want to take you into Saints, okay? So it's Saints chapter 33. It is called, O God, Where Art Thou?, which you recognize from section 121. So these sections 121 and 122 and 123 became such a strength to Joseph Smith that he was buoyed up, the Lord spoke to him, and he continued to start teaching the saints. Look, you do everything in your power and then allow the Lord to do his part through this. So he sent these letters to the saints, sent them to Emma, and a few days after Joseph sent his letters, he and his fellow prisoners left the jail to appear before a grand jury in Gallatin. You remember the Gallatin election day battle. So before they left, Joseph penned a letter to Emma. "I want to see little Frederick, Joseph, Julia, and Alexander," he wrote. "Tell them Father loves them with a perfect love, and he's doing all he can to get away from the mob and to come to them." So he's going to do everything that lies in his power. When the prisoners arrived in Gallatin, some of the lawyers in the room were drinking, while a crowd of men loitered outside, idly peeking through the windows. The judge on the bench had served as the attorney prosecuting the saints in their November hearing. So convinced that they could not get a fair hearing in Daviess County, Joseph and the other prisoners asked for a change of venue. Their request was granted, and the prisoners set out for a courthouse in another county with a new sheriff and 4 new guards. Well, the guards were lenient with the prisoners and treated them humanely as they traveled to their new venue. In Gallatin, Joseph had actually won their respect by beating the strongest of them them in a good-natured wrestling match. Public opinion about the Saints was also shifting. Some Missourians were growing uncomfortable with the governor's extermination order and simply wished to drop the whole matter and be rid of the prisoners. So, the day after they left Daviess County, the men stopped at a way station, and the prisoners brought whiskey for their guards. Later that night, the sheriff approached the prisoners. "I shall take a good drink of grog and go to bed," he told them, "and you may do as you have a mind to do." And the sheriff and the 3 guards got drunk. Joseph and his friends saddled 2 horses with the help of the remaining guard and headed east into the night. What a cool way to end here. It seems like even in the Book of Mormon and church history, get the guards drunk and leave seems to work fantastic, right? Well, around this time, a ferry landed in Quincy, Illinois, and several rough-looking passengers came ashore. One of them, a pale, thin man, wore a wide-brimmed hat and a blue jacket with an upturned collar that concealed his unshaven face. His ragged trousers were tucked into worn-out boots. Dimmick Huntington, a former sheriff among the Saints in Far West, watched the unkempt stranger climb up the bank. Something familiar about the man's face and the way he carried himself caught Dimmick's attention, but he could not say why until he got a better look. "Is it you, Brother Joseph?" he exclaimed. Joseph raised his hands to quiet his friend. "Hush," he said cautiously. "Where's my family?" So since their escape, Joseph and the other prisoners had been on guard and on the run, following Missouri's roads back to the Mississippi River and the freedom that awaited them on the other side beyond the reach of the Missouri authorities. Still shocked to see the prophet, Dimmick explained that Emma and the children lived 4 miles out of town. "Take me to my family as quick as you can," Joseph said. So Dimmick and Joseph rode to the Cleveland home, following back streets through the town to avoid being seen. When they arrived, Joseph dismounted and started for the house. Emma appeared at the door, I love this, and recognized him immediately. Joseph had lost quite a bit of weight, actually. She broke into a run and embraced him halfway to the gate. So I love that story because you see Joseph following his exact counsel. The worries and the concerns. You do everything that you have control over, and then you allow the Lord to take care of what you have no control over. And have faith in him and cheerfully do those things that lie in your power. I still remember Gordon B. Hinckley saying, you get on your knees. When there is a problem, you get on your knees and you pray as though it all depends upon God. And then you get off of your knees and you work as though it all depended upon you. And those small things will be able to help you through that. So anyway, just a little thought for you today to start off this. Tomorrow, we are getting into the largest section in the Doctrine and Covenants. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and thanks for sharing. Please check out our amazing gospel-themed socks at bombsocks.com, and you guys have an amazing day. Godspeed. See ya.